Hi there, my name is Brenda Titus and welcome to my video series, My Year Recovering from Retinal Detachment. This is the 11th video in my series, and today I'll be talking about the ups and downs of getting back to life, including travel. So if you haven't seen my prior videos, I definitely recommend that you go back and see those. And as a reminder, this is my personal story, my own journey. Everybody's going to be different in how they go through this. And I'm just here to share for informational purposes, hoping to, help other people going through these challenges. So it's definitely not to take the place of getting medical attention. So, with the ups and downs of getting back to life. So, during those first 5 months after the surgery, and I covered this on some other videos, I was adjusting to the discomfort in my eyes, especially going through with a lot of eye drops and just, trial and error, what felt more comfortable, and dealing with eye strain. Also, my eye was very dilated and it wasn't adjusting to light. And so I was having a lot of headaches, a lot of discomfort, a lot of, challenges there. And also, quite frankly, adjusting to my vision because it had changed dramatically. So, and as I mentioned, I did cover those in prior videos. So, in all honesty, at some point in the midst of feeling bad, and definitely this was an up and down, every day would be a combination of the ups and the downs associated with the challenge of recovery. But I did what I could to get used to it and adjust, and also really I had something exciting that I was looking forward to in my life. And so I tried to put my energy on that, which was a special trip to Europe for my 25th wedding anniversary. And it was, well, I had lots of time to plan for this trip, especially. So it was going to be very special. So on the upside of it, I was very excited. I was excited to, go on this amazing trip. It was so fun to prepare and to learn about where we were going. And honestly, it gave me something else to put my energy towards than thinking about the frustration of my eyes. So remember, I mentioned in a prior video, what we focus on becomes stronger. And so rather than focusing on what was hard and what was challenging, I tried to put my energy and my focus on what I was excited about and what I was looking forward to. Now, interestingly, and I've talked in other times about incremental change and noticing our growth. And this did actually, during this process, it did help me be able to see changes in my vision on both sides, as it was improving, and even being able to rely on the eye that hadn't had a detachment. And so I was able to read and especially notice, okay, well, being able to read a book, being able to, read websites, writing that I could read, and noticing that I was making improvements and changes on that. And I had also, through the process of the trial and error with the eye drops and the frustration and the understanding that I needed to accept the changes that were taking place, it did kind of occur to me at some point that some of the discomfort that I was experiencing was possibly because of the cataract that was beginning to form in that eye. Now, we will be talking later down the road about cataracts, but it is a side effect of having retinal detachment surgery. Because of the way that they have to go into your eye, the eye does its own self-preservation, and it creates this cataract. And so that was actually, we believe, a big part of what was happening. And so I thought, okay, well, what are the symptoms of cataracts? Well, eye irritation, didn't ever say anything about that dilation, but the irritation that I was experiencing, the light sensitivity that I was experiencing. So I thought, okay, well, what do people who have cataracts do? They wear they wear sunglasses all the time. And so I thought, okay, well, what if I put, sunglasses over my glasses? And that actually really helped quite a bit. So I began wearing wraparound sunglasses a lot of the time, and that seemed to help. So those were the exciting parts of this part of the time, the ups. Now the downs were the scary parts. Now exciting and scary. So, but these were actually legitimately scary kinds of things. They weren't, I was kind of, say to my clients, the difference between excitement and fear is how we're perceiving it. And I had to acknowledge some realities about the things that were quite scary to me, actually. So the scary things, well, with travel, and especially, like I said, it would be in Europe, I was first very afraid of navigating crowds. And that was something that I had been experiencing throughout my recovery because, people around me, they didn't understand the challenges with my vision. And people have acknowledged that I faked it pretty well. I didn't want people, worried about me, and I didn't want to seem like a target either. By the time I went to Europe, so I put on a good front. So the fear of navigating crowds, my husband was very good at being prepared for. Sometimes I would just have to sit, and he would go, figure out the situation at the airports, or at the metro, or any place like that. So I did rely on him quite a bit for my physical safety and security, more than I usually would, because I am a pretty independent person who can usually navigate the world pretty well. The next one was navigating stairs and cobblestones, and what I knew that I needed to do was to slow down. Now, I had very much was afraid of falling, and the reality is that I do have some history of moving quickly through life and making a little trip and fall, stumble, what have you. And I knew that, I needed to be incredibly, incredibly careful about falling around, really being sure where there were stairs and steps that I could see my feet, and also different places where cobblestone, where it would be easy to trip. And so I did really learn a lot about slowing down, and as we think about learning to embrace the moment, and so taking it all in, also taking breaks as well. So and the sad one. So we've talked about a variety of feelings and emotions, and there was a sadness associated with this trip as well before we went, because I knew that my vision wasn't the way that I wanted it to be. And I knew that I was struggling, but I was very determined to take this trip and to kind of, and enjoy it to the fullest. It never occurred to me, once the bubble had been cleared and I'd been cleared to fly, I was determined that I was going to go on this trip, and I was excited about that part, even though I knew I would not be able to see as well as I would have prior to the retinal detachment. Now, the truth is that it became sadder and more disappointing later, and that is because, as I've mentioned, the trip did not turn out as we had planned, and it was amazing. It was wonderful. I was excited, and I did a great job with the cobblestones and the slowing down and the stairs and the steps, and I really felt really good, like I was getting my life back, and I was very happy about that. Unfortunately, during that trip, I did experience a second retinal detachment in my other eye, and it created a massive dilemma. which I'll be sharing in future videos. So that will be an interesting thing for you to continue on with me about. So I do appreciate you being here and letting me share this journey with you. And I hope that you've learned something. That is obviously a big part of my goal, is to share and to share my journey and also the ups and downs. People really understand, whether it's a retinal detachment or another challenge that we go through, that there are going to be so many feelings and so many emotions associated with them. And sometimes we just kind of have to process them as we go. And that's kind of life, right? So I appreciate you being here, and in the next video we will begin talking about those symptoms all over again, the symptoms and the getting medical treatment, and the interesting challenges of experiencing a medical emergency far, far away from home. And so that'll be as our next videos come around. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And I wish you have a wonderful day.